Hello, we have today with us Nishit, who heads production at Amazon Original Movies, and he's been an investor on our platform for the last about 5 years. So we just wanted to have a quick chat with him around how has his experience been, what has he done so far, how would he like to kind of proceed further. So welcome, Nishit. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Typically before we begin, Nishit, we do these series because there's a lot of investors who may or may not know the right way to start, what should be done or should not be done. So we discuss your real experience. So feel free to absolutely give us whatever feedback you have in your mind.
Sure, no worries.
Okay.
Thanks.
So let's start with a little bit. I mean, you've worked on some extremely interesting projects,
Right.
right? It's like you've
Yeah.
worked, you've led the production team at for Dangal,
Dangal,
which has been one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
Yeah.
And now you find yourself at Amazon, which is a totally different kind of environment, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah.
How did you get to
Yeah.
the Dangal?
Dangal stage. Yeah. So what had happened was that during my college and university days, I used to do a lot of theatre, and from there, basically, I started getting hang of what happens really behind the scenes or at backstage. And one of my friend was shooting for Rajkumar Santoshi's Shahid Bhagat Singh. So he was falling short of manpower. And then he asked me if I can help him out. And that's how my journey in the production department started. Till that point, I never ever wanted to do films. I always wanted to do theatre. That's it, nothing else.
Right.
But eventually I discovered that I do have a aptitude for production also. So I jumped into it. And then actually the journey started. Then after Bhagat Singh, I did Mangal Pandey with Ketan Mehta. I did Rang Rasiya again with Ketan Mehta. And then 2008, my journey with UTV started as a freelancer, not as an employee. And for UTV, then I did one animation film. I did this film called Ganchakkar. Then Dangal happened. Then in between there was also a film called Raja Nathoral, and that happened. So I also kind of learnt on the job. But I mean, I kind of graduated from production runner to assistant production manager to unit production manager to line producer to executive producer, so on and so forth, basically. And after doing Dangal also, Dangal was a fantastic experience, and that goes without saying, because I was working with one of the most, efficient as well as a very intelligent crew who also could understand the problems and kind of work our way around. So after Dangal, again I was back into hardcore production, did a couple of things, films in the industry, and then COVID happened. And that slightly kind of threw things off, because there was a lot of uncertainty in the industry, and which was genuine. Nobody could do anything about it. So then while this COVID phase was happening, I came across a production house who wanted a budget for one of the Amazon series.
Okay.
And I kind of built that budget for them. And that's why I got in touch with Amazon guys.
Oh.
And it happened, that budget got through, everything happened.
Yeah.
And then I lost touch. And while I was working on another project, that time Amazon called me if I would be interested in a job with Amazon. And I am that way absolutely a desi banda, as they call it.
Yes.
I'm not at all corporate.
Right.
And because I'm not corporate, that's why I finally decided, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. And I had given myself 3 months, 4 months probably. And the team I used to work with, they also felt, Nishith will come back, don't worry.
Not going to last in the office too long.
Exactly, yeah. So, but yeah, Amazon again was a very interesting thing. Actually, entire the interview process and the selection process. I told them upfront that I'm basically guy from the feature films. I don't really enjoy working on series or any long format shows and things like that. But yeah, fortunately, I got through. And when I got through, when I was selected, I was told that I was hired for the films.
Right.
And that's how this responsibility of heading Amazon or leading Amazon original movies came to me. And it has been a great journey so far.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Yeah.
From journalism
Yeah.
right to OTT.
OTT. That's
You
right.
know, which
Yeah.
is so many transformations
Yeah.
in your career. Now, while you were describing this whole film experience, it's very different for us, right? Because we
Right.
see the film from the outside,
Right.
and we are, I think metaphorically, we are on this side of the screen,
That's
and
right.
you're on the other side,
Other
of, the
side of the
screen,
screen. That's
right? So if you can just just for fun, tell us how does it look like from that side? So, for example, if you look at the Dangal, as an example,
Yeah.
there is this very interesting shot where he sets up some mattresses on
Right.
the terrace
Right,
for
right.
the daughters to kind of
Yeah. So there is this
look.
sequence in the film where he's teaching his daughters a point called 5-pointer.
right. And this is Mahadev Singh Fogart.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And what had happened actually before that, whenever I see a film on which I have worked on the screen, whenever I'm looking at the screen, at each and every shot, I'm always tracking, अरे इस टाइम ऐसा हुआ था, इस टाइम ये प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, इस टाइम तो लगी गई थी यार. That always comes to your mind. I mean, more than so I always watch whatever films, whether good or
From the other
bad.
side of the camera.
Yeah. I always watch all the film twice because
Acha.
first preview or whatever
You're thinking of
this. Yeah.
Right.
What had happened?
And then the other one is from
Yeah.
this side of the camera as a viewer.
Yeah. So what had happened was they were setting up our art department was setting up the entire those mattresses, and they are preparing for that shot and that entire sequence which happens on the terrace. And for us as a production, we had provided all the required list which which art department had asked us, and we are ready for the take. Everything happened. Amir also came on the set, and the shot began.
Okay.
And director said action. Amir took his entry and he said cut. There is something problem.
Okay.
Sorry, now I'll switch to a bit of a Hindi.
No, well, good.
So Amir said, "ये mats कुश्ती वाले mats हैं." So everybody said yes. कि हाँ कुश्ती
So
वाले
he
हैं.
had just come onto the set
Yeah.
and
He was
entering stepped onto the
mat.
mattress.
Yeah. Only
Okay.
this much. That's
Okay.
it. Nothing else.
हाँ.
And immediately he said cut.
हाँ.
ये कुश्ती वाले mats हैं. Everybody said yes. He said chance ही नहीं है. Nishit को बुलाओ. I got a frantic call on walkies because that location was cramped. That's why we are keeping rest of the only required people were there on the set. So I was downstairs and मैं दौड़ते भागते गया. मैंने कहा क्या हुआ कि अरे AK बोल रहा है कि ये कुश्ती वाले मैट्स नहीं है. मैंने कहा of course है. I mean we have procured these mats from nearby कुश्ती का अखाड़ा.
Right.
Or that's why they're kushti mats for us. So he said, just have a word with him because everybody was fun. And
And is he like a taskmaster on the set?
I mean, he's a taskmaster, but has a very, very. I mean, he won't scold you in front of anyone. He will always take your side and very calmly, very gently, he'll tell you, ki, this is what happened, which I didn't like, and please make sure that you don't repeat your
But people
mistake.
are scared.
Of course, people are scared.
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
After
because
all,
we only see the smiling character on camera.
That's right. That's right. But to tell you the truth, majority of the times, because AK works so hard in his on his preparation.
And AK is Amir Khan.
Right, sorry, yeah. So he works so hard during his prep time or preparation that whenever he's on the set, he's usually smiling. There is no stress because rest of the unit knows what is to be done, how to do it, what might be the problems. Everything is in place. So he told me कि Nishit, these are not कुश्ती मैच. मैंने कहा कि नहीं, एक हमने तो लील वाले अखाड़े से, लील इज़ अ नियर बाय गाँव, सो वहाँ से मंगाई है. तो बोला कि चांस ही नहीं है ये कुश्ती के मैच से. मैं पिछले 9 महीने से प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ और अब तू मुझे बताया कि कौन सा कुश्ती का मैच है. मैंने कहा आई एम सॉरी, गलती हो गई होगी, पर मैंने अखाड़े से मंगाए थे इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि ये कुश्ती के मैच. पर खोल देख मैट. आई टर्न आउट टू बी मैट ऑफ जूडो. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was something.
What depth of,
Yeah. That was a great learning experience for me because what happens, my department is usually providing everything to everyone.
Yeah.
So now this particular instance taught me that providing is fine, but one has to really go deep dive and seek it properly and
go into the point of view of the actor who's playing a character.
Exactly.
He got so deep into the character that he knew with a single step and probably the bounce that it gave him.
Exactly.
That it wasn't
that softness and the bounce. You're right. Yeah.
Very interesting. Lovely. So, I thought of another, interesting thing while you were describing this, Nishit. In your view, like you've had a long journey with films and a slightly shorter journey with investing, but it's still a long journey as far as most investors go. We've been working together for the last 6 to 7 years, I think. And before that, you've had a 2-3 year journey about investing. So, any time you've experienced any parallels between your, the film journey and how your journey as an investor has been, or lessons?
I mean, the parallel thing is, I would say, just to put it in a word, probably it's an uncertainty of
the
fields.
Okay.
That is there. One another parallel thing, and this I'm saying slightly in a negative way, but that fortunately doesn't apply to Cambridge, but people not being transparent.
Yeah.
And absolutely. That has, if you ask me, if you tell me the truth, ask me the truth, that has been my major problem with my investing journey, honestly speaking.
All right.
And it wasn't that they were bad people, right? Or they were kind of trying to fool me or anything of that sort. I think it was sheer lack of efficiency, if you ask me.
Okay.
And when we started working together, the first thing which I noticed was the transparency, and that really kind of hooked me, actually.
Okay. But what do you mean by this transparency?
The transparency, in fact, when we started our journey, the first thing you had told me, Nishith, any of my client at any given point can check my folio whenever they require and ask me questions about it.
Right.
They can compare their own portfolio with mine, and that is absolutely fine with you. Right. So that was kind of,
and we have up on our website as well, so you can take a look at.
Yeah. Okay. So मुझे लगा कि यार ये कुछ अलग है, and अलग है, more than अलग है. I felt कि हाँ ठीक है. I think let's take baby steps now.
Right.
So that confidence
and the faith goes both ways.
Faith goes.
If I ask you for your faith on me, I'm sharing my portfolio with you as well.
Exactly. And another important thing which you usually mention and have mentioned couple of times, that I don't want to work with your trust, but I have to earn your trust. That's one of your, I mean, for these many years, that's one of your patent lines. So, which I really appreciate, like it, and I can see it that it has come in the rest of the team as well. because not every time I can be bothering you. So as far as that is concerned, I mean, that is something really great. पैसों का ऊपर नीचे थोड़ा बहुत, that is a given thing in this, and you have also always kind of in a way taught me that look at the larger and be patient basically. So and one more thing I must say, ki with my prior experience and whatever it is now, you are always, because there is a lack of communication probably, there is a lack of transparency probably, there is a lack of, for somebody like me, I need a lot of hand-holding because I don't have that kind of knowledge. So having said that, you always kind of tend to ask अपना दूसरा कोई दोस्त जो इन्वेस्टमेंट में है या दूसरा कोई कि यार is this okay, is this
second opinion,
second opinion. So वो शुरुआत में मेरा हुआ with my prior experience, but when we started interacting, and then like you said that you earned my trust, I have never ever felt that
I should check it.
Yeah, that I have never ever felt. And most importantly, the app on the phone, that, I mean, forget that, as soon as I log in, I can, if my one friend is sitting here, like mera scene ye hai. I mean,
Right.
so that is I think, again, this is a part of transparency. So I think that's a great thing you guys have done.
Thank you. We work hard to earn your trust, and we'll continue to do them. So we don't rest on our laurels, and while we really appreciate the journey you had, I think it only kind of spurs us to work harder on the portfolio, on our research process. And I think over a period of time, we've tried very hard to improve our process wherever we've seen that we've not been able to catch things. We've kind of put in the right algorithms in place, and I think we are far better today than we were when we started working actually. But so nice. So how is this parallel, like you said, even on films, transparency is not a given.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
See, especially once you are shooting a film, it's like a war.
Okay.
And you have to follow the command of the captain, which is usually the director.
Right.
And in my department, it's both director and my producer. Both the things.
Oh.
So, and when you don't have that trust, and usually हमारे यहाँ बहुत ऐसा होता है कि direction team and production team very rarely work hand in hand.
Yeah.
I have been fortunate enough that on most of my project, it was always someone, we made an extra effort and we could manage that. But otherwise, I will always say, ये direction वाला बंदा ये ज़्यादा ही मांगेगा.
Right. They come with different objectives.
Exactly. And direction वाला बंदा से कि अभी इतना मांग लो, ये वैसे भी negotiate करके कम ही देंगे.
Right. So there is this mistrust to begin with.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, now production as a department has gained, and people do respect that department. When I started my career at the time of Shahid Bhagat Singh, that wasn't the scene. So we are always...
Because it's a little less organized.
Very, very less organized. I mean, yeah.
Now it is super
organized. That's
interesting. So, on the investment side, we often hear... So it's the other way around, right? So what happens is, now everybody is looking for returns, right? But so compare that to the direction department,
right?
And on the production side, there is an element called risk, which you also
absolutely,
right? Which it's your job to control that and make things happen. Now people often forget about risk.
Yeah.
And therefore, in our industry, people very easily say कि sir 20% मिल जाएगा. Okay, so that's like promising the director कि whatever set you want at whatever time you will get it. And it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are reality constraints.
Absolutely.
Right? So we've always kind of maintained the fact that look, don't just chase returns. Look at the cost you may pay for those returns.
Right.
Because there is nothing that is free. There's no free lunch.
Right. That's right.
So, and what we try and do is put different options in front of you. That's our job. And to make them relevant and evident to you. That if you want this, it's possible, but there is some risk that comes.
Yeah.
Or if you want a balanced portfolio, there is a little lesser risk, but little lesser return as well. Or if you want an extremely conservative folio, there is lowest risk, but returns will be sacrificed. So you need to understand what spectrum you are on, rather than just chase returns. So perhaps that's a little bit closer to your direction team.
Quite a. I mean, it's after. I mean, the way you right now explain. For me, after a point, especially in the budget stage of the film, it's a kind of becomes a game of checks and balances.
Right. Trade-offs.
Yeah. मेरे लिए इतना कर दो. I'll do this for you. Come what may. Be rest issue.
Right.
Don't worry.
Right. But don't ask for the impossible.
Yes.
Right. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what happens is the risk is left to you
Exactly.
to manage.
Yeah.
And very naturally, and that is correct on the investor's part, I'm going to look at the return.
Right.
But interestingly, and therefore we work very hard to try and make the process as transparent to you as possible. Markets are in an X momentum. Investments are in a Y momentum, and therefore the decisions that we are taking or you are taking and the options that we are giving you are relevant. Now I always say you need to make a call.
That's
right, because whether you like it or not, it is your money.
No.
I am or our team here is the Sarthi. Right, but we can't shoot on your behalf.
Sure, yeah. That's
It's your portfolio, you must understand it. And we categorically don't work with people who don't want to look at their own portfolio. And trust me, most people may not want to.
Yeah, I was exactly the same prior to this.
Right. Yeah. So this is very interesting. Now tell us what was the difference before and once we started working?
Yeah, I mean, before the thing was this gentleman and his company was and he was a friend basically. His partners were not friends, but he was one of the partner and he was a friend. And to tell you the truth, he did explain me. He did made me realize the importance of investing. And I really appreciate him for that. And that's
well done.
Yeah, it was well done. And so I started investing. But it was always कि अब तू तो अपना यार है, बंदा है, ये ले पैसे, ये कर, इतना ही मैं दे सकता हूँ. And this is. And I was always in this kind of mental frame कि यार इसको पैसा दिया, he will take care. And I never ever
looked at it,
understood it. Okay. I did nothing about it. So that's my mistake. I mean, there are no two ways about it. Yeah. But when I started looking into it, and when there was a delay in the communication in particular, and then there was a kind of a slight lack of transparency, and you're not getting all that great returns, then you start kind of doubting even more.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of a first journey of my.
So if I were to understand this, you placed a lot of trust. You didn't look at how it was being done.
Right. That's
there was, but as I understand, there was no mechanism for you to look at it also.
Yeah, there was.
Right. So there was no way you could have been informed or in loop, in an easy way, which is a convenient way.
Right.
And then at some point, you also wanted some of the funds back, but there was a lag, or they could not be given back, or something like that, right? And the only reason I'm highlighting this is because, whoever's watching this, guys, these are red flags, and you need to be aware of them, right? If you don't know where your money is going, if you don't know why it's going where it's going, and if there is a delay in any of the cash flows going in or coming out, or if they're going into accounts of the advisor first or the distributor first and then going into the fund, all of those are red flags that you must be aware of, and really forgive the strong words, but avoid like the plague.
Yeah.
Right, because then it's your money at risk.
That's right.
Now, so flip this a little bit. So then when you started, so there is a reason you were a little unhappy. You said, you started exploring different options.
That's
So how did that journey go?
well, realizing that my portfolio is not doing great, and I became very serious about it. And then I myself kind of spoke to other friends, tried to learn things from them, and I still don't exactly remember how did I come to you, but when we came, and I think within first 1 or 2 meetings, I think I was sorted. That's what I felt. And of course, because then again the kind of way I had given the money, and I do remember that it was not immediately invested. And you categorically mentioned it to me that I'm waiting for the right time. Don't worry, we'll do a good job. I said, fine. And that eventually happened.
Right.
And then I don't think there was kind of looking back. That's the thing.
Interesting.
Good.
And in terms of your portfolio performance, what kind of performance have you seen? What kind of results have you seen? Talk to us a little bit about that, because for two reasons.
Sure.
One is everybody promises performance
That's right.
and returns, and
Right.
largely what I've learned in my journey is promises are rarely kept.
That's
in
right.
this, as well as your side of the world and our side of the world as well, investment side. And it takes a lot of hard work to actually deliver performance. It's very easy to say itna kar lenge, right? So how has your experience or journey been there?
I must say that my journey was great. That is number one. But again, I'll go back. यहाँ पे भी, like, because you are still kept skeptical, so you again keep asking your rest of the friends who are in doing investment. And मैंने तो बोला कि मेरे इतने returns है. And finally, one of my friends said, "Look, Nishit, anywhere beyond 10 to 12%, it's great. But ours was always much more than that. I would say 15 to 18% to pakka. That's what I would say. So, and to tell you the truth, I didn't tell that friend कि ऐसा ऐसा मेरा ऐसा नहीं, because he would have felt bad,
Right.
genuinely. So that I didn't tell.
Yeah.
But later on, I did speak about Cambridge to him.
Right.
And I didn't tell him ki these are the kind of returns which I am getting, but I didn't want to unnecessarily. I mean, the thing is, I always believed that whenever I have told to my friends, whether they are in film fraternity or usual friends, I have always waited for them that they come back to you. I just meant, they usually ask who is your person. I tell them you, and what's your experience. I say, this is what my experience is. Whatever it is, I tell them.
Right.
And I leave it there.
Right.
And at least till twice so far,
Right.
it has happened that
Yes.
they have
Correct.
come back to me, and then whatever happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the way I like to keep it, because finances and it's hard-earned money, it is such a personal
Yeah.
thing that if you don't really, I should be respectful enough to that feeling of theirs, that it's a hard-earned money of theirs, and they should be able to take a right decision.
Right. Absolutely. So while your expectations were, close to about 12 or 100%. What you've experienced is about 15 to 18%. But was this there from day one, or did it come and go? How was the performance?
I think it was there from the day one.
Okay.
Yeah. Even when the market was really volatile, still we were up to 15% for sure.
Right.
I haven't.
We try very hard to manage that volatility.
Yeah,
so that's the risk piece that
yeah.
I talk about also, right?
That's right.
We keep doing. So what we've been doing is we've continuously allocated to the next wave and not just rested on the earlier wave as we've gone ahead. Okay, that's interesting. How do you think the future look like in terms of the investment journey as well? And tell us a little bit about your very interesting professional journey that is going on as at Amazon Original Movies also.
Amazon Original Movies, I mean, the thing is, I would say that because I'm never ever worked in corporate. There has been a lot of learning, and which is a great part of it. At times, I'm sorry to say, but it's true that corporates do become at times very bureaucratic, and systems are good. Nothing wrong with the system, but it becomes at times very bureaucratic because of the systems.
Right.
And that's the downside of that. But it was great to learn those systems, those processes.
Right.
And the important thing which I learned out of those systems and processes, that's the only way to scale up.
Right.
Otherwise, there is no other way.
Right.
So that was there.
Correct.
So in the same way, I would say, with the kind of systems, apps, processes you have, I am pretty rest assured that it is going to, my investments are going to be fine. They're going to scale up. They're going to grow. And in a way you feel that you're in safe hands, kind of. So yeah, that's what I would say, actually.
Super. Thank you. It's very very heartening to hear that. Not just that you feel safe, but why you feel safe.
Yeah.
Because we've discussed, the research model that we kind of run on a daily basis.
Correct.
What kind of insights it gives us, what kind of perspectives it gives us, and how we act on those, and recommend the right options for you at the right period of time. So very happy to hear this.